Good afternoon, I'm Steve Hensley. First at 4, rounds of heavy rain and storms are pushing through the region. Flash flooding is a big concern, and we've already seen some of it. WYMT's Brandon Robinson has an update on this severe weather alert day. Brandon?
Steve, you're exactly right. We've got a lot of new updates to talk about right now. Let's go back in time about 6 hours and show you what's come through earlier this morning and this afternoon. Waves of heavy rain have moved through our area and continue to move through our area, and some storms are now firing back up off to our west. The good news is staying below the severe threshold at this point. We do have one flash flood warning left that I want to talk about here in a minute, but let's go on a radar tour first down toward Pine Knot, seeing some pretty electrical activity down there with some lightning in those storms in McCree County, going through parts of Whitley County just to the north of Williamsburg. So if you're traveling along I-75 back up toward Corbin and London, you're probably getting a light show there. Barberville, some of these are approaching your area over into parts of East Tennessee as well. We zoom back up onto Buchanan County there. That is an area that we're really concerned about because remember, just a couple of weeks ago, they had some devastating flash flooding, and for a little while earlier, this goes for about another hour, that flash flood warning, they were under a considerable risk for more flash flooding. So we're keeping a close eye on that. Thankfully, the bulk of the rain has moved out there. We also have a flood warning. They transferred that flash flood warning into a flood warning until 6:30 tonight for parts of Breathitt, Floyd, Johnson, Magoffin, Martin, and Pikes. Almost 30,000 people affected by that. This is brand new. The counties that were not included in southeastern Kentucky, southern Kentucky have been added. Still goes until 8 p.m. on Wednesday. I expect that to be expanded. Southwest Virginia, East Tennessee, your flood watch goes through late tonight, but I expect that to be expanded as well. Temperatures did not get out of the 70s in most locations today. Didn't even get out of the 60s in Clintwood so far. 81 in Jacksboro, our warmest spot in the region, but a lot of mid to upper 70s, so we did not even get close to making our forecast high. This is a great tool that you need to have in your toolkit to track all this with. The WYMT weather app. We're going to see more scattered chances for showers and storms today and tonight, but as we get deeper into the day tomorrow, that's when more action can come our way and we could have a repeat of today in some areas. Steve?
All right, unfortunately, we're not even close to being done yet. All right, Brandon, thank you. Well, flooding has impacted several communities already throughout the region. In Floyd County, several calls came through to dispatch detailing folks stranded in their homes or cars due to the high water. Floyd County Sheriff John Hunt says even if it's just a few inches of water over the roadways, the best advice is always turn around and don't drown.
We discourage any kind of traveling through water, and what happens is a lot of these places you may have traveled it 15 minutes ago and you could go through it pretty good, and you can go somewhere and you turn around and come back, and in just that short of time, 15 or 20 minutes, it's risen enough to really cause you some more problems. So we discourage any kind of traveling through the water if you don't have to.
Other counties hit with some flooding throughout the Big Sandy region include Pike, Johnson, and Magoffin counties. We'll have more from Floyd County and possibly other areas as we go along later tonight. It appears Floyd County may be the hardest hit county from what we're seeing by the flooding today, but again, more rain is on the way. State Representative Chris Fugit and State Senator Brandon Smith were the speakers today at the Hazard Perry County Chamber of Commerce meeting where they discussed several topics. One of those was the ATV trails that are becoming more popular in eastern Kentucky. They want to connect more areas to trails, and Representative Fugit says last year Knott County's campground brought in $300,000 from ATV use.
We want to connect cities to the trail system so people can come down into the cities and eat at restaurants, stay in motels, get gas, stop at the mini marts, and do all that.
Representative Fugit says 19 counties are involved in the trail system. Monkeypox is spreading in the U.S. and around the world. Two sources familiar with internal discussions say the White House is working on naming a monkeypox coordinator amid rising case numbers. The World Health Organization declared the global outbreak a public health emergency of international concern over the weekend. The U.S. has not yet declared it a public health emergency.
We're seeing a very unusual event. We've known monkeypox since the 1970s, but we haven't seen this level of transmission around the world.
The federal government had shipped 300,000 monkeypox vaccines to states and territories as of Friday. The White House says the FDA is working to finalize approval for roughly 800,000 more doses. More parents are choosing not to have their young children vaccinated against COVID-19. A Kaiser Family Foundation study reveals that 43% of U.S. parents of children under 5 say they will not get their child vaccinated. Researchers also found only 17% of parents of children between 6 months and 5 years old say their child has been vaccinated or will be as soon as possible. 21% of Democrat-leaning parents said they would not vaccinate their young child. That's compared to 64% of Republican-leaning parents. U.S. basketball star Brittany Griner returned to a Russian courtroom today with her defense team battling to save her from a 10-year prison sentence on drug charges. CBS's Tina Kraus has the latest on the case.
Brittany Griner arrived at the Russian court Tuesday shackled in handcuffs. The 6'9" American basketball star ducked into a cage for the 5th hearing of her trial on drug charges. Her defense lawyers telling the judge Griner used medical cannabis to reduce pain from injuries, arguing it's a common treatment for international athletes, even though it's illegal in Russia. Griner admits having vape canisters containing cannabis oil in her suitcase when she was detained at Moscow's airport in mid-February, but insists she wasn't trying to break the law.
She was in a rush, as she said, packing, and this medication, she just forgot to take it out of her luggage.
In court Tuesday, Griner held up photos of supporters, including her wife and teammates, who say Russia is using her as a political pawn. Griner's case comes as U.S. ties with Moscow are at their worst in decades over Russia's invasion of Ukraine. The 31-year-old pleaded guilty earlier this month and faces up to 10 years in prison. Her lawyers are hoping for a lenient sentence.
The court in Russia, in fact, has very broad discretion with regard to the sentence.
The two-time Olympic champion and Phoenix Mercury star is set to testify on Wednesday. Tina Kraus, CBS News.
President Biden has spoken to Griner's family, saying he will make it a priority to bring her home. Let's head over to Wall Street now on this Tuesday. The Dow closes down today more than 209 points. We'll have more financial news in our next half hour. But straight ahead here on First at 4, whiskey is no longer just a man's drink. More women are choosing it, and they're also making it. We'll have more on how the industry is changing.
Well, the heaviest bands of rain are moving out for today. There is more on the way. I'll track them for you in just a few minutes.